things that we've been through. Life is better with you.
Hey guys, I'm Brian,
And I'm Allison.
and this is
Our life in front of the bleachers.
so many years we've spent together, and throughout that time, there have been thousands of young people that we've been in close contact with, whether it be through me teaching, through you working with your job as a social worker in the schools, or me as a coach and you as a coach's wife. And we really do value those relationships, and we really do feel as though it is our calling many times and our mission to show them what a good marriage looks like, and how a man treats a woman, how a woman treats a man, and how you're involved as a family member. And we've had some unfortunate times where people who played for me, had some tough times of their own, and we would feel their same pain. We'd try to figure out ways that we could help them. And there are many times that you would, go to the store because they didn't have food, because they didn't have clothes. You would have to take them. I took on a job at Dick's Sporting Goods just so that I could get the discount at the store because we were spending so much money on cleats and gloves and shorts that kids were outgrown because they were working their butts off in the weight room, getting big and splitting holes in their pants, and I have to go buy them shorts and such. So, sometimes you do what you have to do, and you remember, when you have some of those kids that have such a tough life, you just have such a bleeding heart. You just feel like I have to help them. And I remember having a basement at one of our houses. We felt as though that's what it was for. I mean, we had coaches stay in the basement, we had players stay in the basement, and one of them was your favorite.
Yeah, he was. He was a good kid, and just there was a point in his life that he just needed to be with us. And so we took him in for a little bit, and he stayed with us in the basement, and really became part of our family. And the boys were very young at this age. And
I think Parker was probably kindergarten and Tate was probably one or two, right?
one or two, yeah.
Mm.
So, and I think he really did enjoy being with us. And
He was like a big brother to
he
those
was,
kids.
and they would want to go downstairs and see him, and but respected him enough to give him his space. But he did enjoy them coming down at night to read a book um, to them before they went to bed. And he was, always let me know when he was going and coming from the house, asking if it was okay for him to
Well,
go.
we set those parameters for them when they did. So look, you're our responsibility. So at the very least, just make sure that you're communicating with us. We want you to live because he was borderline adult but he needs somewhere to stay. But he was extremely respectful,
Right.
and he never infringed on the coach player type deal. He didn't expect
No.
anything, and it was just one of those deals that it was what was right for him at the time. That's what he needed because of the other situations going on in his life. So I was very, very proud of him. And I know our kids really loved him to death.
Yeah,
and,
they did.
And then we had some others that had stayed with us for a variety of other reasons, but sometimes they were just lonely. They just wanted to be there with us, and they would come for holidays, and they would come and certainly hang out on the weekends because they like being around the kids, and they knew that the kids loved them a bunch too. So
Yeah, there was the one that did come over.
that fly is just coming all over us. What is that about, huh? He just wants to be a part of the action.
So there was this one that definitely became a part of our family, and even into college, he would come by when he would come home. But Tate especially just enjoyed him, and I swear he knew when he was coming. Now, from the window of this house, you could see the front of the neighborhood. And when he would come over, he would go flying out that front door. And I just remember him being so little, just busting through that back or that front door. I always thought he was going to eat it on the stairs going down, anytime he turned the corner, Tate was out the door going.
That fly reminds me though, because it really does. Because dealing with kids sometimes is like dealing with a fly. I had that fly several months back in the car, and I'm driving to work. Not to change the subject at all,
Mm-hmm.
but it flies over to my driver's side window and then flies across to the other side. So I said, all right, I'm gonna let the window down, and I'm trying to save the fly because if I leave him there all day, he's probably gonna fry the fly. And as soon as I open the window, he's got enough room to get. He doesn't. He goes the opposite direction and runs right into the window right next to me. So I put that window down, and sure as shooting, he goes into the back. It's the same thing with kids. You give them these openings. You try to do what's best for them sometimes, but they're gonna bang their head. They're gonna do everything they can to interrupt your broadcast, fly all over the screen, and just mess stuff up sometimes. They don't mean to. They don't mean anything by it. They're just being a fly. And sometimes kids are just being kids. And some of these kids that live with us, they weren't always the best.
No.
Because we had them stay with us because they didn't have any other options. But as you can attest, they didn't always want to, follow script.
No, there's the one. I didn't ask him to do. I just asked him to do a chore, take out the trash, do something silly, and he just didn't want to do it. And so he went upstairs, packed his stuff, and he left.
Bolted out and then lived on his own in the middle of nothing forever. But we've had kids that were homeless. We've had kids that have dealt with all kinds of family issues. We've had kids that lived in their cars. We've just had so many, things that would just make you cry because they're trying so hard to make it in a world that sometimes they don't even feel that they're wanted. And we did everything we could to make sure that they felt like they were wanted, to make sure there was hope in the future, and that we could give them something that they could say, all right, I'm going to hold on to that because if I can at least hold on to those few moments that were good with the Davis family, maybe I can aspire to get something like that when I'm older.
And it's always separate from football. We always definitely keep it separated from football, where it's not a coach and his wife. It's just us wanting to help them because they're trying their hardest to do, or their families are just
they're just struggling.
So
it just gave them an outlet to say maybe life won't be bad forever, and they can have this moment and continue to build their lives and hopefully again have some hope in the future. But we used to have dinners over at our house every season to start the season, not just because we wanted to feed them and not just because we wanted the seniors to get together, but sometimes I wanted them to see that I'm human. I got a wife that yells at me. I got a wife. Oh, yes, you do.
I talk loud.
I listen softly, but no, they get to see a different dynamic of our relationship to recognize that it ain't all mean Coach Davis and perfect Miss Davis all the time.
No, it's mean Miss Davis and quiet Coach Davis.
Yeah, I take a back seat because I know who's in charge around here. I know who wears the pants in the house. Well, most days if you're in control, I'm just doing what you tell me to do in the house. Now, at school, that's a different story because that's my baby. But I got to make sure it's right the best it can be. But no, I look back on all those experiences, all those kids, and my memory's not the greatest. I don't know if it's because of fatigue. I don't know if it's because of injuries over the course of my time as an athlete, but I don't always recall everybody's names. But I'm real good with faces, and I'm real good with knowing those kids that had a huge impact on me because of their perseverance, because of their love and willingness to overcome obstacles, and also the willingness to, subscribe to what Coach Davis was asking. Because if there is hope in the future, there's power in the present, and there's something you can do right now that'll make tomorrow invariably better. And I'm not always great at doing that because I'll wallow in self-pity when we lose a game or lose several games, whatever it is. I'm gonna, bemoan my own fate. But sometimes you just have to have a little bit of hope, and we hope to have provided that for most of them. But some of them, I had to take some of their hope away because they hoped they were going to be just a basketball player. So I had to go beat them in basketball just to get them to play football. So all you knuckleheads that remembered, I ain't never lost one-on-one. I ain't never lost in any shooting contest, and that's why all you suckers had to play football, because I gave you the business. And
And
this
he
50
loved doing that.
and this 50-year-old can still probably, in spite of shoulder surgery, I can probably still give most of y'all the business. So don't bring it unless you want to be singing it. But no, it's been fun years. I know this is 30 plus years with me being involved in coaching, whether it be at the college level or the middle school level or the high school level, and you've been there for almost every step of it. So I do love you, and I appreciate it. And I know
Aw.
that those kids certainly do too, because many of them always ask when they, text me or they Facebook Messenger, how's Mama Davis? And
Oh.
I think this is that fly trying to figure out how good you are.
No,
So
I'm not. You are.
but no, they do care a lot about you. I think they care a lot about us, and we care about them too. So
We do.
it's been good. So we've learned a lot, because this is
Our life in front of the bleachers.
Take care.